You won't believe what this brave royal guard did. This moment with a boy in a wheelchair is something he'll never forget. It started like any other ceremonial day at Buckingham Palace. The guards moved with military precision, their crimson tunics glowing under the soft London sun, their tall bearskin caps adding to their almost mythical presence. Tourists stood in awe behind the gates, cameras raised, murmurs of excitement and admiration rippling through the crowd. But none were more excited than an 8-year-old boy named Jamie. He sat in a small, sleek wheelchair, wrapped in a navy scarf, his wide eyes full of wonder. Jamie had cerebral palsy, which made it difficult for him to move, but nothing could dim the light in his face as he watched the changing of the guard ceremony unfold before him. His small hands clutched a miniature royal guard figurine, a keepsake passed down from his late father, a man who had once served in the military and spoken of these guards as living legends. This visit was Jamie's birthday wish. His mother, Claire, had saved for months to bring him here. To her, it was more than a day trip. It was a moment of healing, a bridge between Jamie's admiration and the memory of his father. And as the soldiers marched in perfect synchronization, Jamie's excitement peaked. He waved frantically, hoping to catch the eye of just one of the guards. Most kept their gaze forward as protocol dictated, but one, Sergeant William Thomas, broke from tradition ever so slightly. With the faintest smile, Thomas glanced toward Jamie and gave him a quick wink. The gesture lasted only a second. But for Jamie, it was everything. After the ceremony ended, Claire wheeled Jamie closer to the gates, hoping they might get one more look at the soldiers as they returned to their posts. Jamie couldn't stop talking about the wink. "Did you see that, Mom? He saw me. He really did." Sergeant Thomas, now off duty and no longer bound by the strict ceremonial rules, noticed the boy and his mother again. Something about Jamie tugged at his heart. Maybe it was the boy's infectious joy. Or maybe it was the way Jamie reminded him of his own younger brother, who had passed away years ago from a similar condition. That quiet connection was enough. Breaking protocol even further, Thomas approached the pair. "Hello there, young man," he said warmly. Jamie's mouth dropped open. "Are you talking to me?" "Of course I am," Thomas replied with a smile, crouching to Jamie's eye level. "I saw how much you loved the ceremony. What's your name?" "Jamie," the boy said, his voice trembling from excitement. "I think you're the coolest person in the world," he added, almost in a whisper. Thomas chuckled. "Well, thank you, Jamie. That means a lot. You know, we trained for years to make those marches look that perfect." Jamie straightened his back in the wheelchair. "I try to sit up straight too, but it's hard." Thomas's face softened. "You know something, Jamie? Being strong isn't just about standing tall. Real strength is about holding your head high, no matter the challenge. And I'd say, you're the strongest person here." Claire's eyes filled with tears. This wasn't just a soldier talking to a child. This was a man seeing her son as something more than his limitations. Then Thomas did something that would stay in Jamie's heart forever. "Would you like to try on my hat?" he asked. Jamie's eyes widened. "Really?" Very gently, Thomas removed his bearskin cap, a symbol of dignity, pride, and discipline, and placed it on Jamie's head. The hat was so large it nearly swallowed the boy's face, but his grin shone brighter than any sun. Gasps echoed through the crowd, followed by cheers and applause. Cameras clicked, but for Jamie and Thomas, the moment was just between them. That night, a photo of the smiling boy in the oversized hat went viral online. Thousands of people shared the image, moved by the humanity, respect, and quiet power of the interaction. Comment sections overflowed with support, with veterans, parents of children with disabilities, and even former guards chiming in with words of admiration. A week later, something even more incredible happened. An official invitation from Buckingham Palace arrived at Jamie's home. He was invited for a private tour. The day of the visit, Jamie wore his finest sweater and held his guard figurine tighter than ever. At the palace, he was welcomed not as a tourist, but as a guest of honor. Sergeant Thomas greeted him once again, this time without his ceremonial uniform. He led Jamie and Claire through rarely seen halls, shared stories about his training and missions, and introduced Jamie to other guards who had seen the viral photo. Then came the final surprise. Thomas presented Jamie with a custom-made Royal Guard uniform, tailored perfectly to fit him, even while seated in his wheelchair. The buttons gleamed, the tunic was stitched with precision, and a miniature bearskin hat topped it all off. Jamie's hands trembled as he touched the fabric. "This is mine?" "It's yours," Thomas said. "Because you, Jamie, represent everything we stand for: courage, resilience, and pride." From that day on, Jamie wore that uniform with honor. He brought it to school for show and tell. He wore it during therapy sessions, where he stood taller and pushed harder. It gave him more than just joy. It gave him a sense of identity. And every year after, Claire and Jamie returned to the palace on his birthday. They never needed another wink. The memory was already part of their lives, etched into their hearts like the finest metals. Sometimes the greatest acts of service don't happen on the battlefield. Sometimes they happen in the quiet moments, in a wink, a shared smile, a moment of recognition. And sometimes the strongest salute isn't performed by a soldier in formation, but by a little boy in a wheelchair wearing a Royal Guard uniform with pride.